Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Angel. If you don't know me, I'm a world famous nail enthusiast. Because we're manifesting that, and it's gonna happen. So today I thought I'd be doing something a little different. I still have my New Year's Eve set of nails, and we're not gonna change those out. We're not gonna change these out for a little while because I have a fun little video coming out. So we're just gonna do something a little different. This is my practice hand that I was given to me like for Christmas by my neighbors. Her name is Barbara. Um, and she doesn't fit in my table to like clamp. But that's because this table has little lip. So we're not clamping her down. But that's what I figured that we would do is use Barbara in this video to do a consultation and how I would do a consultation. You know, take what you like, leave the rest. Or maybe you don't want to do any of this part at all and call it good. But this is the box that Barbara came in. It's just a nail practice hand, upgraded version. I don't know. I will say that she is very nice to move the fingers around because these are thinner wires up here, so that's very nice. Like you can move them around. I probably wouldn't move them too often if you get this hand or any hand, because eventually that's gonna, and then the only problem I have is this wire is very difficult to maneuver. That's my problem with this hand. But also she doesn't fit on my table, but that's a me problem. This is a free table, so slowly we're changing things out. Anyway, so Barbara is here in my chair today, and she's going to be a lovely assistant. And so this is part of my consultation. So I think it's super important to kind of think about this if you're just a DIYer who doesn't work on anyone, or maybe you want to start working on people, just how you kind of want to present yourself to your clients, right? And so for me, I kind of have this issue. I don't like to be touched. I know. You're a nail tech. How do you not like to be touched? No. It doesn't matter, okay? I don't like to be touched, okay? If I need to get a service done where I'm gonna be touched, I kind of like prepare myself beforehand. But to just be grabbed at and lunged at, I'm like, oh no, that is just too much. And so there's this hairstylist, I don't remember their name on TikTok, but they do ask, is it okay if I touch you? So I kind of implemented that, and then I kind of thought about it because it's been a while since I went to the doctors, but apparently they also be asking you that. So I'm like, I think it's a really good practice. But what I really liked about this hairstylist also is that they ask, what are your pronouns? That being said, Barbara's in my chair today. She's already washed her hands. She sits down in my chair, and then I'll put on the gloves. I already had the gloves on. I know. This is my second time making this video. I don't hear it. So, she sits down in my chair. And so, I would ask Barbara, hey Barbara, how are you today? We will have a light little conversation. Probably had that at the door. So she sits down in my chair after washing her hands. And so I go, Barbara, if I'm gonna film, because maybe she's gonna get something that I'm like, I want to film this, then I would ask. So I would ask these 3 questions. Is it okay if I film / take pictures at the end? If Barbara consents to this, then we go ahead with filming. If she doesn't, that's okay. We'll just do the service. And then I would ask Barbara, I'm like, Barbara, what also are your pronouns? And this is important because as a gender nonconforming person, I think it's super nice to make the space a safe space for everyone. A lot of times people think that the safe space is just for the person that's coming into the space, and I don't agree with that. I want the safe space to be safe for you, and I want the safe space to be also safe space. I want the space to be safe for myself as well. So that's a great way to kind of gauge if your client is going to be a right fit for yourself. I'm not saying that you have to agree with everything that your client agrees with, you know, because at the end of the day, this is a business. That being said, that's something to gauge for yourself and kind of think about. For me though, I want a clientele that is going to be respectful of all genders. And if you get offended by me asking what are your pronouns, then that already tells me that you have a certain mindset and that we're not going to be a good fit. Because if you have an issue with that, then I work at my house. I'm alone most of the times here. There is no one else here. Like I don't need to take that upon myself. And right now I am just a DIYer. So the only people that I am working on are friends and family. But you know, when I'm licensed and trying to get everything ready and set up, and I take extra clients at home, that's one of the things I don't want, is to have a space where I no longer feel safe by anyone who enters here, because this is my space at the end of the day. So that's just me personally. So that kind of gauges to me like, you know what? I don't think we do this. But also, I think it's important because people can present a certain way, but not identify with certain types of pronouns. For example, I have a day job, and one time this lady asked me what my she didn't she kind of assumed my pronouns were not he, him, and they, them, and they're like, you guys are some beautiful people, and then pointed are like, they're so great and fantastic. And I was like, oh, you know, you could just, my pronouns are he, him. And she's like, oh, okay, whatever. But it was really nice and affirming, because I do non-conform. I have a purse, I wear long nails, I do my makeup, not today apparently, but like, so there are certain things where I do non-conform to. So as someone who might present a certain way, they might present a certain way, but identify as a different way. And so that's another thing. But even if, you know, I just also don't want to assume, you know, if Barbara sees her post, I don't want to say they, and then Barbara's like, I'm not a they, I'm a she. And then there could be a way to lose clientele very fast because you're trying to be inclusive and you probably didn't ask. Or maybe you go the opposite way and Barbara's like, so it's just something to kind of think about. At least for me, like I said, I think about this because this is the space that I occupy in my everyday life. So I do want to give that same type of respect going forward professionally. That being said, Barbara will then tell me what her pronouns are. I already know that she's a she because that's what I affirm this hand to be, is a she, her. So we would talk about them. before I reach over to, I have a really bad habit of tucking my leg underneath my other leg and sitting like that. It's a really bad habit if you're going to be doing this as a job where you're sitting down all day. So Barbara tells me her pronouns, and before I touch her, I would then ask, is it okay if I touch you? Again, as someone who doesn't like to be touched and you need to mentally prepare, this could also be something to get those types of clients, you know? I think it's important because, again, safe space, but then also boundaries. You know, if you're not ready to be touched because you're like, I don't trust you, I don't know who you are yet, I get it. You know, like I said, right now, this is my house. This is a very tiny room. And you know, I do have some crystals, incense, tarot cards, and this room is slowly going to evolve into have a very certain type of aesthetic. And if Barbara feels uncomfortable because it's like, oh my god, I'm at someone's house, ooh, I don't know about this, and maybe Barbara saw my nails on Instagram, on some kind of social media, or in person, was like, oh, I need to go, but then comes and like, oh, this is a house, this is suspicious, this is weird, I don't like this, I don't feel comfortable, and then gets to in here like, oh, he's into crystals, ooh, I don't like that. You know, maybe that's not her vibe, and maybe Barbara needs to think about this for a minute, because my consultation and doing your nails would be all in one, and we'll do your consultation while doing your prep. So before I start, if Barbara says no, I'm like, oh great, that's fine. What is it that I can do for you to make you feel a little bit more comfortable so that I can touch you? And because maybe, who knows what it is, right? If Barbara needs a minute to think about it and be like, actually, I don't know, I need some time to think about it, I could be like, okay, that's great. I have an opening next week, same time, so we can reschedule you for that time. If you feel like you're not up to it and I'm not the fit for you, that's okay. Just give me a call 48 hours before that appointment and we can cancel it. There's no fee, because there's also no rescheduling fee either. That's part of my terms and services and my policy. There is no rescheduling fee. A cancellation fee, if you cancel, you know, before 24 hours, I'm still playing with that part too. But these are just things I'm thinking about now, even though I'm not even in nail school, and I think that's important. So you can kind of figure out what you want to do and how you always have time to tweak it. But the more time you have time to tweak it, the better you can be at. When you graduate, you have your license, you have all your insurances, you have a place to work, you can be like, boom, go. And then no one's also surprised, especially if they're like a long-term client. Or, you know, a client that already, Anyway, so for me, 36 hours. Actually, I like that number better. You know, you have 36 hours to cancel before your next appointment. So, we do a rescheduling. At this point, Barbara has time to think in her own space if I'm a good fit for her. If I am a good fit, great, she shows up for her appointment. If I'm not, she can call me and be like, hey, I just want to reschedule. I want to cancel my appointment. I'm within, I'm more than 36 hours before the appointment. So 48 hours, whatever I decide, right? And boom, no fee. Now, if she cancels before, you know, before her time is up for the fee. I'm like, okay, I totally understand that I'm not a good fit. However, you know there is a cancellation fee, so I'm going to have to cancel. I'm going to have to charge you that cancellation fee because I did tell you about that. That's it. So there's that aspect to it. In this case, Barbara decided she doesn't need to reschedule. She's okay with me touching her. So I would grab my cuticle and we would do this consultation. So she says it was great. So we're pushing back her cuticle. She's lovely because she has no cuticles whatsoever. I'm jealous. So we're push. Because no matter what service she's gonna get, all prep is exact the same. You know, I only do acrylic and gel. We don't do nail polish. So I don't need to use like a fine file when I'm doing the her nail plate. You know, it's all gonna be medium. At this, and I would also obviously have everything that I need. So like if we're gonna do acrylics, I got my acrylic stuff there. When this table gets changed out, I'll have all the stuff in drawers here, but I don't have, this table doesn't have drawers, so they're on that shelf over there. Same thing with gels. So we can figure out what she needs based also on her consultation. So while I'm pushing back her cuticles, I'm asking Barbara what she does for a living. I think that's important because this gives me a chance to look at her nails, see what kind of shape they're in, and what her lifestyle is like. If Barbara is, let me take these off. If Barbara is a bartender or a like hairstylist, someone who's always has their hands submerged in water, I don't want her to get acrylics. She might want them. That's not the best option for her. And for me personally, I think this is why a consultation is important. If your client has because you're the nail professional, so you have to give them the best service, and this is the best way to retain a client, is to give them that customer experience where you're like, I'm a professional, I know what we're doing, and I know what's best for you. I personally wouldn't charge any different versus acrylic versus gel. I know some places do. I don't do that. I don't want a bunch of different numbers in my head or anything. I also don't want you to pick something because it's cheaper and you're like, okay, I'll just get that because that's cheaper. You know, if you're a bartender and you always have your hands in water, you don't, baby girl, we're not getting acrylics. Absolutely not. That's not good for that's too poor because acrylics are porous. That water is gonna seep in all the time. That your nail plate's gonna have so much moisture. When it dries out, then it's gonna go all this. It's gonna have a lot of lifting. Then you're gonna be like, well, you're a terrible nail tech. I'm like, I'm actually not. You just picked the wrong thing. And I don't want to give a client what they just want. I want to give them what they actually need so that they can be like, oh my God, this is amazing. I'm coming back. You know, if they're a nail biter and they're like, I want, you know, this length of what, 1.5 inches of nails. And they're like, I want that kind of length of a nail. And they're a nail biter and they want gel. I'm like, that's not going to happen. We can't do this in this session. It would be like getting someone from black box dye to platinum blonde in one service. Impossible. So I would be like, we can get you there. We're gonna have to work on some things. I can't get you gel because you are a nail biter. That's gonna touch a lot of the skin. Acrylics are gonna be a little bit better for it to grow out. And then the new growth, we can do a backfill of gel. And so as that grows out, we can do gel. It'll have a nice length. And then, because you're not used to a long nail either, we can do steps to get you to the long nail. Because if they're not used to it, they're going to be bumping that nail everywhere. And, you know, that's going to create a lot of pressure. They're going to either break them or they're going to cause lifting. They're going to do things because they're not used to having anything to do with long nails. They're going to think that they still have short nails and they can do whatever. And they're like, you can't. It doesn't work that way. So this is part of the consultation while I'm doing all this prep work where we're talking about that. I can figure out what she needs right now. But then also the long term. What's the long term of your nail? I'm going to turn it on e-file right now. But that's also what we would be doing when we're doing, you know, the actual buffing of her nail plate. What's the long term is going to look like? Do you stick to a certain shape all the time? Do you like to change up your shapes? You know, just things like that. Because if Barbara was like, I love squares, I always go for a square, I don't ever change it up, you know, at this point, great. This is going to be, you know, a pretty easy client, and there's going to be very, very low maintenance about that. You can be like, great, great, we can just always do backfills, and so we don't have to remove all that product. So we can just do, and all we're doing is just moving the apex back every single time. And that will, your client's gonna thank you for that. You could also explain to the client why you're doing that. Maybe Barbara's been to other salons where they do a soak off every single time. I don't do a soak off. I refuse to do a soak off. Part of the reason is I have nothing to do. Like, what are you gonna do? You're just gonna soak your hands in acetone, and I'm just gonna look at you in your face for like 30 minutes? That's awkward. I find it awkward, at least. I don't want to do that. Also, I could just remove it way faster with an e-file. I'm very trained with an e-file, and I could also show Barbara, like, look, this is how I've done my removals, this and that. But also there's some issues that come with that, you know, with soaking your hands in water or acetone or anything. So I could tell her the benefits over that and why I do a dry manicure. Barbara gives it a try and she's like, this was amazing. This was a lot faster. Or we could even spend that extra time that we would have been soaking off. If Barbara likes to do nail art, we can do that on more fingers to do nail art. But if we're on a time crunch, I'm like, you only booked for this. Like, I only have time for this. It gets all, because time is money. So you have to kind of think what the client knows and what you know, because you're the professional. Barbara, we're not doing this. Absolutely not. This is way faster. But also, if Barbara gets hard gel, because maybe Barbara is, you know, like I said, a bartender or a hairstylist or something, I'm like, Barbara, I can't do that. This hard gel cannot be soaked off. So we do have to e-file. And we're just going to take down most of the bulk, boom, and move everything back, change everything up. That's it. Barbara's like, okay, great. You're the professional. I know what you're doing. I trust you and everything. Part of this consultation also, like I said, is end term, right? You know, maybe Barbara's like, I love to wear, you know, nail art, all 10 fingers. You know, I love rhinestones and chains that loop, very fashion type nails. Oh my God, Barbara, I love that. That's the field that I want to specialize in. So I love that you love that. We can definitely get you there. So for this go around, because we are going to build out this kind of structure, you know, we're going to do some, you know, I have 4 categories: basic, basic plus, supreme, luxury. Luxury are like fashion type nails, lots of rhinestones, chain, like all that stuff, right? You also get some added benefits. Yeah. Anyway, well, that's a whole nother video. But anyway, so this is just something that I'm also playing with right now. So I'm like, great. So let's build out the structure. We probably won't have time to do really high-end nail art, like that fashion type of nail. But if we put the structure in right now, like maybe she loves a ballerina nail, boom. We know we can build out that length. She has the length to support that. We can build out a ballerina nail. We can do nail art on all on her fingers. She's living her life. I'm like, great. Next time you come back, we're gonna book for the luxury. That's gonna be your fashion nails. The luxury is this price. Barbara's aware before, and she's like, okay, great. I know, and this is why I also do basic plus, supreme, and luxury, is because that way I don't even remember anything. It's 4 prices based on what they want, what they need. I could be like, you know, even if they incorrectly booked the wrong one, because maybe they didn't talk to me, we didn't message before the booking, they just said booked an appointment. That's okay. Things happen. I'll be like, hey, so, you know, you booked this appointment. This is actually going to be this kind of service. So if you want to stick with the appointment that you booked, this is all you're going to get within that appointment. Otherwise, we can change it, all this stuff. So anyway, we would talk about that like during this consultation. I already know at this point what Barbara wants, and we can continue to talk. I think also part of this consultation too, once you have established what the goal is, you know, the theme, you know, long nails, pink, with art, you're like, great, you know, gel or acrylic. You can also kind of, in this point in the consultation, ask them, do you have any preferences? Do you want a silent appointment, or do you want to talk during this appointment? Do you want background music? If you have like those systems, and you can be like, device, play this. You know, you can have that kind of ambiance. Kind of gauge what your client wants, because this is not a nail salon, so I don't have to worry about anybody else. So if Barbara was like, hey, I just want to, I actually talk all day, and I just want to sit here in silence and read this book, that's totally fine, Barbara. I'll probably ask you a couple questions every once in a while, but otherwise, boom, you know. Great. If you want to set an appointment, Barbara, is it okay if we just have like some spa type music playing in the background? You can have those kind of conversations and go from there. Barbara can also message if she wants a silent appointment. Otherwise, if she wants to request a certain type of music, you know, maybe Barbara, I personally like spa type music. It's very calming for everyone. But if Barbara's like, hey, we're doing this theme set, because maybe Barbara likes, again, fashion type nails. We're doing this Lady Gaga theme set nail. She's like, can we play Lady Gaga to really get into this mood? That's something that, again, I'm not in a salon. It's something that I could probably accommodate for her. You know, and be like, sure, girl, let's get into this. Which I do have actually in a set. Oh my god, so many sets. Anyway, so many ideas. Literally thinking about nothing but now. But anyway, so that's what I like about this idea of a consultation. If you think that these consultations is a good idea to do while prep, what are some of the things that you do in your consultation before you get your client? What are the things that you liked about this? I would love to know. So anyway, this has been a great video actually. So I hope, like I said, I hope you like this video. Take what you like, leave what you don't, or try it out. Did you actually like it and be like, I thought this was weird, and then I tried it out and I liked it. I like that kind of consultation, because a consultation shouldn't, I mean, it's not going to take 20 minutes. It's a very quick thing, but you also can do some work because you still got to do the prep. You know, if you're a nail tech, or gonna be a nail tech or a DIYer, the only difference with prep is what kind of grit you're gonna do when you do, if you're gonna do nail polish. That's gonna, you're gonna use a fine, you're gonna use a fine grit. But if you're gonna do acrylic or gel, it's medium. But the prep, pushing back the cuticle, lifting the cuticle, all that, I do an E-file manicure. Erica's AT is a great source to learn how to do an E-file manicure, and all prep is the same thing. So after that point, you're just like, great, let's move on and figure out what you need for your nails, for your lifestyle. Nothing's worse than getting something that you didn't need. Also, part of this consultation, if she is going to get, and because I'm talking about this, if she's getting gel, you know, she's going to use a light. That's one of the things to talk about. Hey, there is going to be this sensation, you know, this is how you're going to prevent it. You have this to kind of like work with your client before, and that way they know. Just like when you go to the doctor doesn't just go, okay, I'm gonna touch you, and you're like, okay, and then just like throws you on the back and then says, I'm pushing on your stomach. They ask you, can you lie down? Okay, I'm gonna push on your stomach. Great, you can sit back up. I'm gonna listen to your breathing. They're telling you what they're gonna do, so you're not just all like, oh my God, what are you doing in my ear? All of a sudden, like, you were just listening to my breathing. Why are you in my ear? Checking my, you know? So I think that's part of the reason I want to do this consultation like that, is because it doesn't startle her at all. I don't have to be like, boop. I'm gonna take off all this stuff. I would do step by step what I'm gonna do to her, so she's not like, what is this? What are you doing? They don't do this at the other nail salons I've ever been to, and I'm like, yeah, they, you know, and she can feel free to ask questions. What are you gonna do? Because we've had that open conversation. She's like, this feels safe to me. I can ask a question. Because nothing's worse than be like, I have questions. I don't know what, I don't feel comfortable. That opening conversation makes them feel a little bit more comfortable to get into it. Again, if you like this, comment below. Tell me what you like, what you did, what you didn't, what you tried, what you didn't try. Love to hear it all, and give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, and I will upload every Tuesday. Next week's gonna be a fun little acrylic thing, so stay tuned for that. Bye. Goodbye. Goodbye. Oh, I don't like this. Bye. See ya.